All of my friends like men. There's your word for the video to comment on to get a heart from me. Just type in men and you'll get a heart. Anyways, we're here for another Casual Geographic video. Haven't reacted to one for a bit, but here we are for another one. And this one's called Why We Owe a Vulture on Steroids an Apology. Now, I don't know what a vulture on steroids is, but I know what it looks like now. And that's a one big vulture. Steroid vulture, yeah. Anyways, I got nothing else for this intro, so we're gonna jump right into this and see why we owe a vulture on steroids an apology, and yeah. So let's just jump right into it now, shall we? Yes, Jesus. Like, go back. Look at the height different. Hold on, go back. Like, hold on, let this guy get on. Like he's not even fully next to it, and that's how big this bird is. Like, oh my god! Like, just things are huge. I'm gonna go on a limb and assume that these things don't attack people unless you piss them off. I guess I'm gonna go on a limb and guess that, but we're gonna find out. Cause Jesus. And I would hope that's not, because, like, at this point, you just... oh, boy. Christ. Big bird.
Don't be scared. He's just a baby.
He's just a baby.
He will get bigger. Close your eyes and visualize.
He's just a little guy. He's just a little guy.
Visualize the most disrespected animal on Earth. Now open them and apologize for not thinking of the living laundry lint. You don't respect this dinosaur nearly enough.
Living what?
Now open them and apologize for not thinking of the living laundry lint. You don't
living laundry lint? Well, yeah, I guess it does. I guess it does kind of look like that, doesn't it?
Respect this dinosaur nearly enough. Many people have never seen this flying fossil, or they have and never wish to ever again. The world would be a legitimate horror movie without them, yet this creature and its kind are still very much maligned by humanity. But you'll see why. The first two videos pretty much sums up our relationship with them.
Oh.
Especially when
based on here, I mean, it just seems like it want a popsicle. Maybe just a little, maybe just a little guy. Maybe he is friendly.
Let it play all the way. I told you, just a baby. That is a baby Andean condor. And condors
Andean condor, okay.
Jurassic vultures on steroids. There's the Andean and the California condor, and both are built like a prehistoric paralysis demon. They're the closest relative of Argentavis, and I live a life of decency and virtue, because otherwise I know I'd see this homicidal death pigeon in hell. Argentavis flexed a wingspan of up to 23 feet, weighed as much as an adult man, and would have been
I can never hear Argentavis without thinking of Ark, I'm just saying.
The size of a Cessna 152, and on the ground they would have looked that same grown man in the eye. The condors of today are slightly smaller, with Andeans having a wingspan of nearly 11 feet, which is how the bird can stay in the air for hours without flapping their wings once. In fact, by using thermal drafts, one condor managed to soar for 5 hours and cover 100 miles. All that and no flap. The feather relic is also one of the longest living birds, with some surviving up to 70 trips around the sun.
Nice.
Not only does puberty turn an avian dust bunny into Skeksis from Dark Crystal, they end up becoming the biggest birds of prey on Earth. You can't imagine waking up to a dragon and drag outside your window, and that's because
bigger than a dog. Like, oh boy, it could literally just pick that thing up if it wanted to.
You're not from Chile. Not only is it the national bird of Chile, shout out to Chile, they even have a Chilean comic based on them called Condorito. Lucky for Chileans, this dog, and my mental health, condors are absolutely harmless.
Oh, that's good.
Unless you watch Total Drama. Because that might have been the first time Alejandro got his rocked. But yeah, it's a good...
at the same time, it's Total Drama. They'll take anything normal and turn it lethal. No.
Thing that a bird that could pass for a man in a suit is a scavenger. To be fair, that is a man in a suit, but it's for a good reason. Dude, I was kidding about the Jesus. Time really hasn't been kind to the condor. It might actually be the dinosaur left behind. Way back in the day, California condors made a meal out of megafauna like mammoths, bison, and giant ground sloths after they passed tense. It's believed that it was the presence of plus-size prey in the Pleistocene that allowed condors to get so big. The problem is, mammoths and giant sloths got discontinued a while ago, meaning a literal big bird got left holding the bag. It's a biological anachronism. The condor Condorito was built for a time that is long
Condorito?
gone, and when many of the megafauna disappeared, the condor flirted with the oblivion too. Somehow they survived, but that would not be the closest condors would come to extinction.
Oh,
the sick
oh
joke
boy.
is, DDT was really good at murking insects, but even better at erasing everything else, and condors caught the biggest stray.
Of course that's how. Yeah, when you really think about it, getting clapped by collateral's probably got to be one of the most disrespectful ways to go when you really think about it.
The same pesticides would weaken eggshells and cause them to break. Condors only have one egg every 2 years, and the limp chicken that comes out can take up to 8 to mature, and this painfully slow reproductive rate only made the effects of DDT hit harder. But wait, there's more. As an aerial coffin, many condors die from lead poisoning caused by the bullets hunters leave in the dead. Beowulf was
okay. Bullets they leave in the So I mean basically the people who just hunt and just leave what they hunt there, pretty much. Well, that's what I'm getting from that. And if that's the case, then wow, those guys actually suck. Like, if you're gonna hunt, like, at least take it and use it for something. You know? Don't just leave it. Like, come on. Like, even taxidermize it, even. Like, just... Like, come on, at least do something there. Don't just leave it there, like, Jesus. And, of course, take the bullets out, too, because if you need it, you know... You don't want to leave that in there, you know? Actually, I'm curious, if it does get stuck in there like that, is it just ruined forever, or can you just, like, cut around it or something? Or does it just have a time where you can, like, decontaminate it or something? I would hope so.
a condor raised in the Los Angeles Zoo who was released to help contribute to the population. He never would, as he would die 3 months later with an air gun pellet in his gizzard and another statistic for lead poisoning. And if that
of course. Great.
wasn't bad enough, Johnny Cash nearly soloed the entire species.
Oh?
Johnny Cash is known for many songs that I cannot name, but I do know him as the guy that got high, started a fire to stay warm, and caused a forest fire that not only burnt 500 acres of a national forest, it cooked 49 of the condors living there. When asked,
Shh, and there were 50. Hold on, go back. There were 53 to begin. Damn.
When asked, did you start the fire? Cash said, no, my truck did, and it's dead, so you can't question it.
That's... Anything to avoid accountability, I guess.
Okay, Cash. When asked if he felt bad, Johnny said, well, I feel pretty good right now. Evidently, the forest wasn't the only thing that got blazed, and when the judge reminded him of his hate crime towards condors, Cash asked, why should he care? After the federal government took $125,000 worth of care out of his account, he got his...
Yeah, that's why you should care, dumbass. Oh, I didn't accidentally start the fire. My truck did. I feel pretty good about it. Yeah, he don't feel so good about it now, does he?
care. After the federal government took $125,000 worth of care out of his account, he got his answer. Also, I lied. I can name one song, Ring of Fire. No currency could bring the condors back, though, and years of getting jumped by DDT, lead poisonings, and human hubris had the California condor population down all the way to 27 left in the world by 1987.
Damn.
The bird from a land before time was about to flatline. That is until folks finally decided to step up. For all the damage done to the condor, humanity came in clutch for the cause. They went all out, first by capturing all the wild condors left, and when they were done, every condor alive was in captivity. Then they really put in work. Condor eggs have a longer release time than a Spider-Verse movie, but a biohack is that condors will often...
Okay. Yeah, you know, that's taking so long to come out. I forgot that we're still getting another Spider-Verse movie. I forgot about that.
Condor eggs have a longer release time than a Spider-Verse movie, but a biohack is that condors will often lay a second, even third egg if the first one is removed. So the strat was to collect condor eggs for caretakers to raise themselves, basically doubling the output. This would save the condor population at the last absolute second, as condors would begin to be airdropped back into the wild in the 90s. And today, there's over 500 California condors, both in captivity and seasoned across the Southwest. There is one problem with raising condors, it's that the condors can become attached to humans, and like we always say on this channel, the worst thing a wild animal can do is lose its fear of people. The condor compromised with...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is true. I can only hope that it went in a positive way.
Raising these floof nuggets with hand puppets in their parents' likeness. This allowed keepers to teach baby condors how to condor while also retaining their natural fear of humans, which I thought was what was happening here, but I looked into it and this has nothing to do with conservation. This is just love of the game. Must be music.
Okay. Is it? Or... Okay. I was like, either love the game or some furry shit, but okay.
Because if you look closer, that's also a condor in a man's suit. Convincing, right? But raising condors is more than just...
Okay, I'm just confused there. You know what? Just gonna leave that behind.
Just throwing meat at a panhandling puffball. There's a method. In the late 80s and early 90s, folks started raising kid condors in this like daycare system, but with no older birds. But because they had no older birds to use as role models, when the condors were released, they basically acted like teenagers with their parents gone for the weekend. They do things like approach people, invade campsites, and even enter buildings. Things you don't want an endangered species doing, so
yeah.
we had to adjust. Instead, folks shifted tactics based on how wild condors come up and would have a baby sitting by itself most of the time, only occasionally being visited by an adult, aka a puppet. Later on, they'd be assigned an older mentor condor to show them the ropes, and in the final step, both would be moved to a flight pen for the fledgling to learn how to fly.
Alright,
and caretakers would teach stranger danger by using the business end of a water gun on any condor that got too friendly with humans to keep them appropriately people PTSD. They'd also use like shock therapy to teach condors to avoid frying themselves on power lines. But the job's not finished.
That's yeah.
Once you have condors in the wild. I won't call them the pandas of birds because, well, one, pandas don't deserve that self-plug, but two, condors have an even harder time making more of themselves. 25% of California condor eggs are infertile duds that have to be replaced before the couple gives up. Side note, I just remembered, condors can pull a Virgin Mary where a female can lay and hatch a fully functional egg with zero male involvement, like maternal menaces. That's parthenogenesis, and I feel like...
Okay, he said it wrong, but... I was about to say they can just straight up do it asexual, but okay.
Having that move in your bag and almost never using it, even with your population halfway in past tense, like I get that it's mostly our fault, but like help us help you anyway. There's no guarantee once the egg hatches anyway, because many chicks get accidentally poisoned by micro trash, which clogs their system and starves them to death. So researchers gotta constantly sift through the nests for micro trash, and any chick suspected to be contaminated is kidnapped and medevaced for surgery, which also means someone has to camp by the nest for 24 hours and keep the parents from coming home to an empty one and abandoning it. Gatekeeping a dragon from its child for a day sounds more like a Mr. Beast challenge than a way to spend your zoology degree. If a released condor can avoid lead poisoning, pollution, and getting deep fried on power lines, it'll roam the skies for decades and hopefully make many more condors along the way.
Hopefully.
And if they're lucky, they'll have the same partner by their side the whole time. Condors do not get enough credit for how loyal they are. A symbol of unity can have a 5% divorce rate, and a penguin can propose with his best pebble and still get cheated on. But for the most part, a condor will see another condor and just spend the next 40 years making it work.
I guess it's just completely random. You get with animals, sometimes you'll get the most unloyal piece of shit, and then you just get like the seahorse treatment, I guess, where yeah, they're just there forever.
Unless death really does them part. But condors aren't just loyal to their mate. Believe it or not, an overgrown struggle vulture has a social structure on par with chimpanzees and wolves. Condors have a social hierarchy, where every bird knows its rank, especially at the dinner table, where elders dominate. Which is why those raised without other condors ended with avian Alzheimer's, as in they forget their place. But it's not just a hierarchy. Condors will have a friend group that they'll hang with, and if you're around long enough, you'll see them preening, play fighting, and even chasing each other. They'll even look after other injured condors and share food with those that can't do so for themselves. What kind of bird of prey you know that's moving like that? The social butterfly nature is why we had to put on the hand puppets in the first place. When I said condors can get attached to humans, we're talking about a commitment lasting years. Eduardo is an Argentinian cattle farmer who found an injured condor on his property and helped bring the bird back to health. Now, every once in a while, the condor visits a man that saved him as a thank you, and even tries to preen him. But to me, the wildest part is the condor didn't imprint on Ed because it eventually went back into the wild instead of following him around, so this venti vulture is actively going out of its way to see him. Who'd expect that kind of emotional depth from a cloud casket? Well, anyone who's worked with them, because they'll tell you that vultures are sky puppies with personalities that'll even have favorite keepers that they'll run to when excited. They're also curious and will play with anything from actual toys to the socks and shoelaces of their preferred human. Many keepers swear by vultures being the most fun bird to train because their curiosity and attachment makes them act like precocious children always looking for their parents' approval. They're even on the short list of animals smart enough to use tools, with Egyptian vultures using rocks to crack open ostrich eggs. You wouldn't expect that from a career scavenger and death merchant. Vultures have been underrated, and fun fact, there's Old World and New...
Yeah, like they're actually pretty pleasant. Vultures in general are actually pretty pleasant animals, but they just kind of get a bad rep, you know. I wouldn't say like nearly as bad of a rep like how sharks were, you know, but you know, no, they're pretty pleasant animals, though.
World vultures, and they're not related. Vultures are essential workers. They're just so important that nature went ahead and made them twice. But this is not a vulture glaze video, so before we talk about the good, we gotta speed run the side you probably already know. Everything I've said about vultures is still true, but it's also true that they have the nastiest diet of any animal. They'll eat the foulest, most
correct me if I'm wrong, but they are not picky eaters in the slightest.
putrid piece of meat like a kid eats candy, and having a weak beak and feet means they'll break into a body from the worst half. Which is why vultures are bald. No point in having feathers when you're going to be neck deep in a dead buffalo. Being bald also helps with temperature. So there's another thing they do. Vultures practice urohydrosis, where they'll leak liquid nasty all over their legs to cool off like sweat. So if you see a vulture...
okay. That's... That's... Alright. You know, hearing that being said and everything just already lets me know that some people have done that to each other. I already know it's just... I just hope... I just hope it would be for the purpose of cooling down, because, you know, that makes it better. But God knows that's most likely not the case. Yeah.
Ashy feet, now you know. Also, some vultures will weaponize their diet, as turkey vultures will projectile vomit, sewer smell, and foulness I can't even imagine. Maybe I just don't want to. Especially if they spray you.
Probably best idea. And spray you, excuse me?
In the eyes, and if it hits feathers, the acid nerfs the ability to fly. That's not the most offensive thing vultures do, contrary to popular belief. Black vultures will camp out in flock around sheep giving birth and immediately slaughter the newborn, gouging the eyes out and eating the blind lamb alive.
Yeah,
that's not even mentioned.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah, because while I said vultures are more pleasant than you think, they are still birds, and birds are psychopaths. So yeah. You get some good, you get some bad. Or some... Well, I guess that's not really bad. It's just vultures being vultures, you know? Nature doing its thing. Yeah. The vulture didn't go vulture. The vulture didn't go crazy. The vulture went vulture. Yeah.
What vultures do to the economy. You do know vulture vomit and dookie juice can cause power outages when they pile up on transmission towers. And that vulture curiosity...
Yeah, let's not do that, okay? You're gonna get on my wrong side if you do that to at least the power that's powering my stuff, okay?
Can send your car insurance into the stratosphere, as necro-tweeties are liable to scratch paint, rip rubber seals and wipers off cars, and even tear the vinyl seat covers from boats and tractors.
Yeah, see, like... I would not like this either. Like, just... Oh, boy. Now I feel like now we're just trying to get me to hate these things now.
That's not as bad as the possibility of them contaminating water sources with their acidic feces when the coliform bacteria from it invades water towers or reservoirs. Not to mention, being the highest flying bird can backfire when they join the Mile High Club after getting rear-ended by a plane engine, which makes vultures, in terms of damage, one of the costliest animals in America, estimated to cause about $3 million and $1.2 million in damages to military and civil aircrafts, respectively. When you add the dent they leave in infrastructure and livestock, vultures are capable of burning a multi-million-dollar hole in the economy. But the real damage is to the economy of your social life. Let a guest see, smell, or otherwise perceive the committee of vultures on your property, and that might just be the last time they ever come over. Yeah. Most people would probably forgive all of that if they weren't so ugly. So it's not hard to see.
Yeah, because that is another thing about vultures. They are pleasant they're definitely pleasant birds and everything, but God, they are still so ugly. Let's not pretend like they're not, okay? They're definitely a lot nicer, and they're nowhere near as bad as they are perceived to be, but God damn it, are they ugly. Yeah.
See how people see a vulture and see nothing but a nuisance. Well, vultures have no business being as OP as they are. Many animals have powerful digestive juices to eat carcasses, but no animal can match a Hades chicken's internal fortitude. Vulture's stomach acid has a pH lower than 1, meaning they can destroy toxins like anthrax and cholera that would one-shot almost anything else. Botulism is considered the most potent natural substance on Earth, as the toxins produced by bacteria attacks the body's nerves, causing muscle paralysis, difficulty breathing, and even death. let alone the fact some people pay to put that in their face. The vulture's nervous system is resistant to that same bacteria and can also tank the same bacteria that can cause tetanus and gangrene with 0 effects. Not to mention, when they're
that does nothing to them, I guess. Neat.
Deep in death and decay, leaking liquid on their legs not only cools them, it acts as an antiseptic that kills bacteria on contact.
Oh, so there's even more benefits to it. Okay, just... I'm sorry, I'm just imagining furries watching this and getting ideas from this, and it spawned a bunch of images in my head that none of them were pleasant.
Of germs are afraid of, and pathogens like tuberculosis, salmonella, leprosy, and even rabies meet their end in a vulture's gizzard. Which is a big deal because if you watch this...
What did I say?
Leprosy and even rabies meet their end in a vulture's gizzard. Which is a big deal because if you watch this video, another plug, but you know rabies is the disease that scares me the most.
Yeah,
the idea
it's... Yeah, and you'd be right to be afraid of rabies. Yeah, like yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm just like, you know, maybe I shouldn't, you know, interact with any random animal that's just walking around and about, because I'm just like, you know, if they have rabies and they bite me and I just don't know if they have it, it's just over. It's just over, because, like, hardly anyone survives rabies. Like, how many people have survived? Because I know there are definitely people who have survived it, but it's, like, so rare. Hold on, let me see. Rabies is nearly 100% fatal once clinical symptoms appear, but there are approximately 34 to 45 well-documented cases of human survival worldwide. While the Milwaukee Protocol-induced coma was once hailed as a breakthrough, it is a high failure rate, and most survivors have required intensive cares. Case number estimated survivors vary, with recent literature indicating roughly 31 to 45 reported case. First person to survive rabies without receiving a vaccine beforehand was Jenna Geese. I probably didn't pronounce that right, in 2004. Survival rate. Survival is extremely rare, with a rate less than 0.00001%, given the roughly 59,000 annual global deaths. So, if you get rabies and you end up being one of the few people to survive it, buy a lottery ticket, okay? But buy two, okay? Just do that, yeah. Recovery. Most survivors experience long-term serious neurological issues. Alternate findings. Some studies suggest that in rare instances, people exposed to low doses of the virus from bats may develop antibodies and survive, particularly in endemic areas. I guess that would make sense, I guess. So yeah, it's definitely possible, but you saw the odds. But let's not take them, okay? I know the odds aren't 0, which means there's a chance, but... 31 to 45 people only, okay? Let's be wary, okay? Let's be wary.
A disease rewiring your brain chemistry for the worse while also making you afraid of water, something that is non-negotiable if you want to live, haunts me. Rabies buries an estimated 70,000 people a year, and with the most common cause of cases being dog bites, it's most destructive in areas with a large stray population, like India. But there's two things India did that gave rabies the green light. First was them criminalizing euthanizing stray dogs, but the main reason was a complete accident. Diclofenac was a drug used as a painkiller and anti-inflammatory for cattle, but that same drug also caused fatal kidney failure in the vultures that ate them. This did an absolute number on the vulture population.
Damn.
Many species cut down by 99%. Not only was it one of the fastest collapses of a bird species, the consequences of the sudden disappearance of nature's cleanup crew was predictable, as a number of rabies cases skyrocketed. And you remember what I said about vultures in the economy? Well, the free fall of the vulture population likely led to the deaths of 500,000 people and an economic loss of 70 million, ooh, that's a comma, $70 billion. From 2000 to 2005. But don't think it's just India that benefited from a scavenger stimulus package. Anthrax outbreaks are a semi-common occurrence in places like Kruger National Park in South Africa and Virunga National Park in the Congo, especially in places where you can have pool parties that contain more hippo than pool, and these outbreaks can kill up to 100 hippos at a time. Not only that, but these outbreaks can reach humans, as in 2011, over 500 cases of anthrax poisonings in humans were reported after 80-something hippos died of the same. Now imagine a carnage if you didn't have bald-headed equalizers clearing the disease for the free. Like I said, there's a reason.
Another reason to have these guys around. They're doing their part. and I appreciate him for that.
Nature thought vultures were so nice they made them twice. Vultures also contribute to society in less dramatic ways, as in the 1930s, the Union Oil Company of Texas started putting mercaptan in natural gas, and with turkey vultures often gathering around the smell, they'd use the birds as markers to locate gas leaks.
Okay.
Vultures also act as an alarm bell for illegal poaching activity, as them circling over an area is like a Batman signal to park rangers.
I mean, yeah.
Unfortunately, that has also made them a target for poachers, who purposely try to poison them. Evidently, the only toxic
yeah, I guess it would.
vultures have no answer for is humanity. Like I said, you do not respect vultures nearly enough. And I take back what I said about them being ugly. The griffin vulture mogs any eagle you can think of.
Okay, yeah, that one looks... Oh, hello. You are scary, but you still look cool. Anyways, go back. Yeah, this one actually looks pretty nice, yeah. Yeah, this guy... This actually reminds me of Adrian Toomes. That's the vulture from Spider-Man, yeah. Like, this dude looks like some form of, like, vulture mob boss. Like, I feel like he about to come in my window and give me some orders to do.
Any eagle you can think of. The bearded vulture is like a Pokemon fire type come to life. The king vulture is just an ethereal specimen of a bird. That is, if you can ignore...
I'm sorry, just go back.
Type come to life. The king vulture is just an ethereal...
There is nothing going on in that head. There is nothing going on in there.
Specimen of a bird. That is, if you can ignore the chesticle situation.
Oh, Jesus.
My sweet baby boy.
Oh, hello.
If there are no condors alive, just know that I have died.
Oh,
that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, put some respect on the vulture's game. Shout out to this comment for making me make this video.
For the video, please do one about vultures, not just because they're my favorite animals, but because they're so incredible, yet so misunderstood true. More people should know about how awesome they are, potentially an opportunity to raise awareness as well, since many species are endangered to human activities. Congratulations for... Oh, did you reach? Oh, yes, he did. 4.13. Nice.
Video. Acknowledge your father, and I'm going to see y'all in the next one.
Yeah. Oh. Alrighty then. I enjoyed the video. I liked it a lot. I really did. And vultures, they're pretty cool, man. They're pretty cool. And I've got not much of that. I got much else to say. Especially since apparently I can't talk right, so I guess we'll go in there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, go check out the original video and go support Casualgeographic. Both will be linked in the description below. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. How it really helps out the channel. And I appreciate it a lot. And I hope you all have a good day. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.